Well, hey, folks, Jack here with a real quick product review to go along with the write-up today. And today we are talking about the Olitans T010 folding scalpel. How cool is that? As you can see, it does open very easily one-handed, trying to give you a little bit of an idea of how small this is. If you look at it next to the key fob for my Challenger, you can see it actually is a little bit longer, but it probably takes up less space on a key ring than a typical key fob. Or if you look at my Toyota key, same thing. It actually takes up less space. Not quite as small as something like a door key, right? So that kind of gives you very, very light because it's titanium. And because it's titanium, it will never rust. It will never bend. I actually have ordered a second one that I'll be keeping in my little EDC pouch in addition to my key ring. More on that in a bit. But, you know, I handed this to my granddaughter because you see how thin it is, right? And she's like 9 and she's a gymnast and she's strong and all. And I told her to bend it. Now, I had no blade in it just to be safe when I did that. But she said, and then she gave me that look like that Papa, like, what are you doing to me? Look, because that's just, you know, we all know that titanium is just really tough. But I wanted something. Actually, I didn't even know I wanted this. I carry a lot of knives, some expensive belt knives. I often carry an outdoor edge, which also has a different type of replaceable blade. I had no idea I needed this in my life. And I saw a video of a competitive product actually and was like, that's kind of cool. And then I read the reviews on it. I'm like, okay, that's kind of garbage. So I did a deep dive into this concept because I'm like, foldable scalpel. And those of you who followed me a long time, like, you guys know I recommended the Gerber EAB, which uses a standard utility blade for years. The problem with that is the clip always fell off the damn thing. And then they stopped making it in one of the form factors, and then they jacked the price up to where it became stupid to buy it. And I've also always recommended like folding utility knives and things like that, because having something that's always razor sharp, because it literally is a razor, or in this case, a scalpel, is really nice. And all your little junk things like opening up, you know, glue sticked up tape and shit like that, it just makes sense to me to not take like a $500 custom knife and get gunk all over it, dull that blade with cardboard and stuff, when something is super cheap to keep sharp like this, that any, you know, you don't even have to have a sharpening tool. You just put a new blade in it. Makes a ton of sense. And I always thought that all of the options were a bit bulky for supposedly being compact. So when I saw this concept, I'm like, this has got to be the thing that I've been looking for like a decade. And so I'm like, okay, even though the one that I saw in a video was just literally garbage, the reviews were just eviscerating it, somebody has to do this right. And it turned out a company I'd never heard of called Olitans had a whole line of these, and they were incredibly well reviewed. So I dug into that, and this was the one that I found. Now, in my write-up, and there's a link in the video notes below, you may want something different. I'll even show you a different option in a bit. You may want something with a different blade. This is a number 24 surgical blade. These are really stupid cheap. They're about 10 cents a piece. You can buy a box of 100 of them for $9.95. That's about as cheap as anything can be. I think for the small size, that blade is perfect. It has enough edge to actually work with. It's a gentle sweep. There's nothing, you know, unusual about it. So I think this works really well for the purpose of something super light, super tough, with you everywhere it goes. And the way this is designed, another thing I like about it, this isn't going to open in your pocket by accident, because of the way that it works. You have to actually push it down to open it. So you're not going to be pulling out of your pocket, catching on something and having it open. It's almost impossible to open without using, I'm not going to say it's impossible, I want to say almost impossible to get leverage to pull it out. You have to push that to open it, and then it opens quite easily. One thing on that, you do have to kind of get a muscle memory for it. Since it's a liner lock, and that liner lock's right there, if you squeeze the liner lock and try to do it, it doesn't want to come out, right? Again, compressed in a pocket, another kind of safety measure. But when you hold it lightly, it's very simple to open. And come on, this isn't a defensive tool. I guess in a last-ditch effort, it could be. But if you're holding off somebody with this, you've got a problem, right? This is a utility tool. That's what it is. And it's very good for that. And again, the best way to make sure your knife is always surgically sharp is to use a surgical blade, because then it is, right? So I think this is a really great tool. One of the little tiny modifications I did to it is you can see there's a little key ring in there. You know, this is a standard size, you know, key ring. And if you look at how small that hole is in the handle there, it would kind of be cumbersome on that. You wouldn't have this free moving where once you have it open, you can actually use it for whatever you want with, you know, the keys kind of flexing for you. So I picked up these titanium split rings. I'll bring them up on the screen for you right now. These are super cheap. You get a whole pack, 3 different sizes for 12 bucks. Lots of utility in them. And because they're titanium, when you get down to a tiny key ring, something that size, what you are worried about is that it would pull apart on you. That's not going to happen with these unless you put it under some serious strain. That's why I chose them. I'm not saying it can't happen. That's pretty thin even for a titanium alloy, but it's going to be much tougher than your typical cheapo mini key ring. So that's why I did that. It does come with a little chain, little lock chain. I don't trust those on a key ring. I've had too many of them open and lost stuff because of it. So I always go with something like a split ring. That's just a better tool for the job. So I have that. And like I said, I got it for my key ring. And then I realized it would be perfect for this little EDC pouch that I carry around. So I'm going to add one to this pouch. But I thought maybe while I'm doing this video, you'd like to see what's in there. And I'll see if I can look up all of the parts because none of these are actually on T-Spaz other than the Streamlight flashlight. But this is made by Klein. This is just a little compact screwdriver. It has a flat tip and a Phillips tip. And what I like about it, and the reason that I chose it, is it actually recesses back. So that point is not going to stick in anything. And then I also carry, this is like completely replaced my need for a multi-tool because it's so much better than the crappy pliers on any of the small multi-tools. This is made by Knipex, and it is a ratcheting tool. And you can see that even though it's very compact, I mean, that'll get around the like a hose lug when you're trying to take a hose off a hose bib, the female side of the hose. That'll hold on to that. And these are great. I have these reviewed on the site. So I guess I'm wrong. These are on the site for you. Very easy to adjust. And that's the smallest pair Knipex makes. And they are fundamentally better than anything you'll get in a multi-tool. I also in here carry a Streamlight MicroStream flashlight. It's not my main EDC light, but it's a great backup. They run on AAAs. And then I also keep in here, and this is one of the most valuable little EDC tools you can have, in my opinion. Again, I'm a big fan of titanium. I also let the granddaughter try to bend this. And as you can see, you can get some arc in it, but you can't actually bend it. Titanium is just tough. That's why we love it. And this is a little pry bar. Now, this one is actually from a military catalog order. So you have to be in the military or have someone that is to order it for you. Not that there's anything super special about it. That's just this particular brand. I got it in a barter deal or something like that at the fire one night or something. But there's tons of different little titanium pry bars. And what's so great about these is, you know, you're not going to carry something huge on you, but there's a lot of things that maybe you can't get open or can't pry open. And if you were using something, a little piece of either steel or aluminum or something like that, it's going to bend on you, where these actually work. And then this little pouch that just turned out to be kind of perfect for that kit. So you got a 2-for-1 video. You got one of my EDC product item or kits, I guess. Plus you've got, you know, the Scalpel. And again, Olitans makes a tremendous line of these. I wanted kind of the most compact keychain size one available. But what I wanted to show you before I let you go here is another option for you from the Olitans line. And this one's kind of, I would call it like their Cadillac of folding scalpels. It has multiple options. When you take a look at this tool, you can replace that end. It actually comes with a window glass breaker on that end, or that can be removed, and that karambit like ring can be put on it. And this will actually pocket open as you pull it out. It's designed that way intentionally if you set it up the way you see it in that image there. It's a much larger tool, though it's still very small, only weighs 1.7 ounces. Quite a useful tool, just wasn't what I was looking for. I may actually pick up one of these in the future. I like the liner clip and everything where it can be carried in the pocket. It uses a different type of surgical blade that's longer and maybe more useful for some people. So I did want to show you that. Now, you can go down there in the video link, click in the video notes, click on a link. You can get over to my write-up. And when you get over to my write-up, you can find all the accessories, all the tools, everything in this video will be in that write-up for you. You can get your own, or you can check out the entire Olitans store on Amazon and see if there's a better fit for you. If you have any questions about these tools, you know what to do. Put them down there in the video comments and I'll get back to you.